From Colorado State University, this is the Emmy Award-winning Campus Television. Owned and operated by the Colorado State Student Body, Campus Television, covering the news.
Tonight on CTV, the March for Academic Freedom in Fort Collins.
Then, how ASCSU passes legislation to serve the students of CSU.
Finally, CSU's Snow Days tradition, Rail Jam. Good evening, Rams, and thank you for joining us.
Welcome back to CTV's Thursday Night News.
I'm Gabrielle Hibbitts.
And I'm Gabrielle Bergh. Last Friday, Colorado students, staff, and Fort Collins community members gathered on the Laurie Student Center Plaza for the March for Academic Freedom, an event held across the nation at many college campuses by the American Association of University Professors, in response to a compact sent to 9 universities across the U.S. by the Trump administration. Colorado State did not receive the compact. However, many progressive student and staff organizations are criticizing the university on its perceived failure to uphold its core values of social justice. In response, progressive student and staff groups tabled on the plaza with information booths, a rally, and mutual aid donation drive. Later on, students, staff, and community members marched across CSU's campus, ending at the administration building to demand action from university officials. Organizers say the goal of the event was to defend democracy and academic freedom in higher education, and remind administrators that inclusion and social justice are core values that must be protected at Colorado State.
A new AI software called CSU GPT was launched by the university earlier this month, giving students, faculty, and staff easy access to a generative AI tool. CSU GPT is a general-purpose platform unique to the university that is designed to assist with productivity, brainstorming, and writing. The tool also allows users to create and share custom agents, which are software systems that use AI to pursue goals and complete tasks on behalf of users. IT experts that worked on the creation of CSU GPT says it provides more data security for users compared to other AI tools such as ChatGPT.
It is all only by an enterprise data agreement accessible by CSU people. And so we have the ability to say nothing that you upload will be used for anything. Chats will not be used for anything else as well. And so that creates a far more secure environment than, say, ChatGPT.
The university partnered with Microsoft to create the software, and Microsoft is also supporting the launch of another AI platform for the university called RamGBT, designed to give students more information about the happenings and schedules on campus. This platform is set to launch in spring 2026.
ASCSU, or the Associated Students of Colorado State University, work to represent the student body. But how does ASCSU pass legislation in order to serve the students of CSU? First, we need to understand the different kinds of legislation ASCSU deals with.
In ASCSU, we have 3 different types of legislation. So we have bills, resolutions, and then we have our legis, singular lex. So the difference between a bill and a resolution is a bill is specifically asking for an action item of some sort, typically from ASCSU. So a bill could be moving money around, something of that nature, whereas a resolution is more based in ASCSU taking a certain stance on something and the voting membership of the Senate agreeing to that stance. A lex could be the combination of both of those items, so that's what we would see in a piece of legislation that both has like a fiscal note and some sort of claim for ASCSU to make.
Any CSU student can write legislation for ASCSU. Once written, the author sends a copy to the ASCSU parliamentarian. After it's received, the legislation is introduced for a first reading on the Senate floor. During this stage, senators and community members can ask questions and discuss the proposal. Next, the legislation is reviewed in detail by ASCSU committees. Once the committees finish the review, the proposal returns to the Senate for a second reading, where members vote on any suggested changes. Here's where the process differs. If the legislation is elects, it goes to a separate committee for additional review and then returns for a third reading and a final vote. If it's a bill or a resolution, the final vote takes place during the second reading. If the legislation passes, it will be signed and officially approved within the Senate in 2 weeks. Through this process, ASCSU works to ensure that students have a say in the decisions that shape life at CSU.
Trader Joe's in Fort Collins is planning to expand its building according to a permit application submitted to the city. The grocery store chain wants to renovate the interior of the building on College Avenue, expanding from its current 12,107 square feet to a proposed 15,608 square feet. While a spokesperson for the company has not revealed the specifics, the application for the permits details the planned renovation and expansion. Now don't go anywhere, Rams. We've got more news coming up after the break that you won't want to miss. We'll take a look at how the government reopening will affect you.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Welcome back, Rams. Krazy Karls, a pizza chain local to Fort Collins, gave out hundreds of free pizzas in Fort Collins while SNAP benefits were suspended due to the government shutdown. Anyone with a valid SNAP or EBT card or furloughed government workers with valid ID were able to get one cheese or single topping pizza, while larger families were able to receive a large pizza, free of charge, once a day, every day, while benefits were suspended.
It was kind of just a group effort of just being like, we want to do our part in making sure that people in the community have something, even though it's maybe not the most nutritious thing. It's something that people really love and can bring happiness to everybody, for sure.
The month-long government shutdown left tens of millions of Americans without their expected SNAP support. After weeks of uncertainty, President Donald Trump signed a funding bill last night to reopen the government through January 30th. Federal officials say that SNAP operations are coming back online and states should be able to restore payments as quickly as agencies get back up and running.
Here in Colorado, SNAP users are getting a clearer timeline. State officials say more than 32,000 people already received their full benefits before a Supreme Court ruling disrupted funding. Now that the shutdown has ended, Colorado plans to send out full payments again as early as November 13th. Providing much needed relief to hundreds of thousands of residents who rely on the program.
Bye-bye.
Hi.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Thanks, Gabrielle. I'm Aubrey Francis, your weather anchor. This week we saw something incredible in the weather, as the aurora borealis was visible right here in Fort Collins. On Tuesday night, the aurora borealis lit up the northern sky with bright green and pink colors. The display was caused by a strong geometric storm that pushed the northern lights farther south, and I had the privilege of going up to Horsetooth to witness and capture photos of the event, which you are seeing now. This spectacle was an anomaly for Colorado, and being able to see it occur firsthand was nothing short of amazing, where even the photos don't fully capture its beauty. Now, let's get into the weather for this week. Today, for the current conditions, it's clear outside with the current temperatures at 55 degrees. The sun set this evening at 4:44 p.m. Humidity is at 36%, and the wind speeds are 5 miles per hour headed northwest. Looking over at our overnight lows for the week, headed down that I-25 corridor, we're sitting nice and pretty in the 40s, with Colorado Springs at 46 degrees and Pueblo at 43 degrees. And looking over at our eastern plains, we're dropping a little bit down into the 30s and 40s, with Lyman at 35 degrees and Burlington at 41 degrees. Finally, looking over at our western slopes, we're continuing to drop into the 30s and 20s, even 18 at Gunnison and Craig at 27. Looking at our tomorrow forecast, we're going to have some clouds with a high of 71, pretty warm, and a low of 44 degrees. The sun's going to set tomorrow evening at 4:43 p.m. Humidity is at 30%, and the wind speed is 6 miles per hour headed southwest. Now looking over at our 5-day forecast, it's going to be cloudy throughout the week for the most part, except for sunny on Sunday, and the high is going to be 68 degrees throughout the week. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are going to be pretty warm in the 60s, and the lows in the 40s and 30s, dropping significantly into the 50s and 40s on Tuesday and Wednesday, and 28 are lowest on Wednesday. Now that's all the weather that I have for you now, but back on desk to Gigi.
While the government reopened last night, the shutdown put air traffic in a tangle that will not be easy to fix. 40 major markets in the United States faced flight cuts due to airports nationwide experiencing fatigue and lack of staffing, as air traffic controllers have not been paid since the government shutdown began on October 1st. The Federal Aviation Administration announced Wednesday that it would freeze flight reductions at the 6% level, and the agency is currently assessing when the system will return to normal operations. Airline regulators warn that flight disruptions are likely to linger until Thanksgiving, as airlines had to adjust their schedules while reducing flights, which are changes that take a while to reverse. Don't go anywhere, we've got more news coming up after the break. Our sports anchor Payton Barill will take a look at what's happening in CSU sports, including highlights and updates you won't want to miss.
Welcome to No Code Now.
I'm Bella.
And I'm Eric.
Look at all of these ingredients.
What could we possibly be baking here?
Tune in to CTV 11 on Wednesday to find out.
We'll see you then.
Hi Ram fans, I'm your sports anchor Payton Barill, and lately it has been great to be a Colorado State basketball fan. On Sunday, November 9th, both the men's and women's team kept their winning streaks alive, adding another pair of wins to their records. The women's team tipped off at 1 in the afternoon and the men's game followed at 4 p.m. Let's take a look at how they got it done. Taking on Long Beach State, the women's team built an early lead. Going into the second half, the Rams held the Sharks under 10 points, leading by 23. The Rams dominated the scoreboard for the remainder of the game, with senior transfer from Indiana, Lexis Bargesser, putting up a total of 17 points. Bargesser went 6-9 from the field, 1-3 from the three-point line, and sunk all 4 free throws she attempted. The Rams rounded out the fourth quarter with a nearly 50-point lead for a final score of 73-34. Even though the scoreboard reflected an amazing game, the team expressed the importance of honing in their play and increasing their shot accuracy moving forward, especially as they begin facing fiercer competition. But if that win wasn't sweet enough, more waves were made as the men's team took to the court against Omaha. It wasn't until the game's second half that the Rams started making serious moves to stray away from Omaha. Kyle Jorgensen led the team with 25 points and 9 rebounds, both career highs. In only his sophomore season, Jorgensen is playing like a seasoned collegiate athlete and earning recognition for his skill. Named the Mountain West Player of the Week, he was credited for his shot accuracy and impressive stats. Jorgensen was backed by a strong team play all around, with the Rams shooting over 50% from the field in the second half. More key plays came from junior forward Kerry Booth with his first double-double of the season. Booth scored 13 points and secured 11 rebounds, going 4 and 6 from the field, topping his contribution off with 2 good threes. The Rams were able to lock in their win with an over 20-point lead for a final score of 97-74. With back-to-back dominant wins for both programs, this season is just getting started and looking bright. If these opening games are any sign of what's to come, Ram fans are in for an exciting season of basketball. That's all for sports tonight. After our break, feature reporter Robert Sides will take a look at one of CSU's most jam-packed events that took place last week, so stick around.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
It's November, which means that snowboarders and skiers are breaking out their boards and renewing their season passes. In CSU's new Snow Days tradition that debuted last weekend, snowboarders and skiers came along for the ride. Snow has not yet landed in Fort Collins, but snowboarders and skiers could still be found. That's because they were riding down snowy slopes at last Saturday's Rail Jam.
I actually go snowboarding, and I've been to the previous two, so I wanted to check out this one since it was on like a bigger scale and see what it was about.
Rail Jam was included with Snow Days, a new CSU fall tradition that started this year. Rail Jam expanded to include more time for snowboarding and more time for cheering.
The community, the people here are awesome. Everyone seems like they're having a good time, ready to go to the game. I mean, Stoke's high here too, so I don't know, I'll definitely be back next year.
Competitive spirit stepped aside and let the fanfare flourish, from the competitors to the judges and back at the audience.
Those dudes have been snowboarding for a while, I feel like, or like, even the people on the mic, they just make it a fun time, joking, and it just seems like a good community event, and I'm glad they brought it back.
The CSU Snow Riders Club helped set up Rail Jam as a place where snowboarders and skiers can connect. New boarders and seasoned competitors alike showed what they got.
I'm going to be doing a bunch of free ride comps this year, and I just keep wanting to perform, compete. I feel like I'm at a point in my career that it's time to kind of show up and show everyone what I got.
Rail Jam showed what CSU's community is about through winter sports and being as cheerful as a snow day. Robert Sides, CTV. ASCSU and CSU Snow Riders successfully expanded Rail Jam for the first time since its reintroduction 3 years ago. Details regarding next year's snow days is yet to be announced. So have either of you ever been skiing or snowboarding recently?
Honestly, Robert, no. Despite living here my whole life, I've never actually touched a ski. What about you?
I haven't been skiing since I was 12, so it's been a minute. So I think if I were to try again, I would probably need some lessons to kind of, learn it again. But I'm just not a huge fan of skiing, honestly. I guess I'm not a true Coloradan.
I think I might be a lost cause, guys.
I'm not really one for sports where you get on a board and move. I'm typically more for sports that use a ball, such as bowling.
But that's all we have tonight for you, Rams. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel for more content.
Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe and have a great weekend.